get finished, automatically winning. Oh.
Alright beauties, welcome back. Per usual, I went ahead and did my brows off camera and then cleaned them up, and I primed my eyelids using my Urban Decay primer potion, and now I'm just going to prime my face with a little bit of the L'Oreal Magic Face Base. I think that's the name of it, but it's kind of a pale pink moussey texture, and I really love the way it feels in my pores and gives me a smooth base to start with. Next, I'm going to go in with my Huda Beauty palette, definitely one of my faves right now, and I'm first going to take the shade Eden and buff that into the transition area of my eye using a Sephora Pro blending brush, and honestly y'all, this brush is stiff as hell and it makes me really sad, so I went ahead and switched over to my NYX and ABH Cosmetics brushes for the rest of the tutorial. Now taking the shade Amber, I'm going to go in and use that more so toward the crease, but a little bit above it as well. And I'm just going to buff that in and blend it out as much as I can using my NYX blending brush. And then moving on to my Karity matte palette, this is a 21 matte. I'm just going to take the shade NSFW, not safe for work, and I'm just going to buff that in over the same area to brighten it up some more and make it more red, because I'm going more for berry tones in this tutorial, so a lot of true reds, purples, fuchsias, and magentas. To add a bit of purple to this look, I'm going to go in with Alexi from the Karity 21 matte palette, and I'm going to put that right into the crease of my eye using this VH Cosmetics brush, but I did find that it was a little bit pale or light purple for what I needed, so I'm going to go in more with other purples just to deepen the color, which you'll see soon. So going back to the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette, I'm taking Amethyst on that same brush and I'm going into the crease over Alexi. So I pretty much ended up using Alexi as a base purple shade and then gave it a more rich color using Amethyst from the Huda Beauty palette. Now going in with a bit more of Amber, I'm just going to buff that over the transition area again to diffuse it out and blend it out more very close to the brow bone. I just didn't want to lose any of that very sunset look on the very edges. I said very a lot, excuse me. And then I'm going to go in with my Fenty Beauty KillaWatt Highlight Duo in Ginger Binge and Moscow Mule. And I'm taking Moscow Mule and going over my brow bone with it to give a pop of color, a little highlight. And then going back into my Karity palette, I'm taking the shade Ego and using that mostly in the outer V of my eye and then into the crease to deepen those areas and give my eye a little bit more of a three-dimensional shape and more depth into the shape. And then to buff out that deep Ego shade, I'm going back into Amethyst and just using that to diffuse the edges because I want this look to be as blended as possible considering I'm using so many bright and bold colors. I just want it to look like it was very carefully done and so that it looked the best that it could. Now taking my Maybelline Color Tattoo in Inked in Pink. This is a very soft pink color. This is a cream eyeshadow, but I'm using it as a base, and I'm taking that on a flat brush to do a half cut crease, and I'm just going to build that up on the inner half of my eye, going up to the crease, but leaving a bit of that purple Ego shade peeking through on the edges. Now I'm just going to go over that cream eyeshadow with some pigments. Here I'm taking my MAC Mini Pigment in the shade Rose, and I spray my brush with a little bit of Fix Plus, and I'm just going to pack that over the lid, over the middle of that cut crease area. And then here you see me going in with my MAC pigment in the shade Whisper Pink, which is part of their Snowball Collection Trios in the pink shade. And again, I sprayed my brush with some more Fix Plus and went in and used that mostly on the inner corner of the cut crease. Now to diffuse the edges of that pigment, I'm going to go back into NSFW from the Karity palette, and you see that I'm just kind of buffing it onto the edges to blend it more into the purple. And then to further blend that out, I went back into the Ego shade, which was that deep violet shade from the Karity 21 matte palette. Now for liner, I first went in with my NYX Epic Black Mousse Liner on an angled brush from Sonia Kashuk, and I tried to do a deep winged line all the way out towards close to the brow, but as you can see, it was just dry and kind of tugging on my eye, so I let that one go. And then I went in with my NYX Epic Ink Liner, which was a fluid liner pen, and it was very easy for me to go ahead and do that dramatic wing that I wanted with this look. Now for my complexion, I went in with my Lancome Teint Idole foundation in the shade 500 Suede W, which right now is a pretty good match for my chest. As you can see, my face is way darker than my chest, which is why I have so many issues matching my foundation, but this one works really well for the moment. So I'm just dotting that all over my face, and then I went in with this buffing brush and just buff that all over my face. I actually like using brushes to blend out my foundation. I just find that it's a lot easier than using a beauty blender, but it's all up to personal preference. I think you can get very good blended, soft results with both tools, and you'll see in my videos that I do like to use a beauty blender for my concealers and such. And then once I had that on, I went ahead and threw on some lashes off camera. These were from Lash Kitty in the style Vixen, which is a part of their Silk Lashes collection. And then I moved on to highlighting and concealing my face, first using my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Deep. And then for my concealer, I went in with my Anastasia stick foundation in the shade Earth. I went ahead and buffed out my contour shade first using this small stippling brush from e.l.f. Cosmetics, and then later you're going to see that I go with my beauty blender to blend out all of the highlighting concealers. And for whatever reason, when I was trying to blend out my nose, I just patted concealer all over the sides of my nose where I was supposed to contour later, and I was just like over it at this point. So that's the look that's on my face, but I fixed it off camera, blended that out, and then later I'm going to go in with some powder contour to softly contour my nose and cover that. To set all of my highlight areas, I'm taking my Laura Mercier TLSP in the medium deep shade, I think that's what it's called, and I'm just patting that onto my under eye. And here I'm actually taking that same powder and doing a reverse contour under the contour shade of my cheekbones. And I didn't put any concealer there, but I just went ahead and used the powder to kind of cut that area and bring it more into the light. Now taking my Makeup Geek contour pan in the shade Deal Breaker, I'm just going to buff that over the areas where I placed the Anastasia stick foundation to set the contour areas with powder, as well as deepen the contour just to give my face a bit more dimension and a little bit more bone structure, considering my face is still pretty round right now. Now I'm just taking a powder brush and I am buffing all of the excess powder away and blending the highlight and contour areas together. And then I'm taking a bit more of that Deal Breaker shade on a small shadow brush from e.l.f. and I'm just going to softly contour my nose using that. Going back into that KillaWatt duo, I'm taking both Ginger Binge and Moscow Mule, and I'm going to highlight my face. I first took Ginger Binge on the lower areas of the high points of my cheek, and then went slightly above that with Moscow Mule to give more of a diffused and blended out highlight look. I don't like a very sharp blinding highlight, but I felt this looked really nice against my skin. And then for my blush, I went in with my Kat Von D eyeshadow and blush Lolita, and I just buffed that in between the contour and the highlight. Now, using a little bit of Fix Plus, I'm just going to melt all of those powders together to give my face a bit more of a skin-like finish. And then I'm going to finish off my lower lash line using a lot of the same shades that you saw me use earlier in the crease of my eye. Now for my waterline, I'm taking my LA Girl Glide eye pencil in Paradise Purple, and this is a very nice consistency. It's very creamy, and this face, oh my gosh, this face that I'm making. But I love these liners from LA Girl, and they're very pigmented, and the colors are a lot neon, so it really pops. And then I'm just going to finish off my lower lash line with some Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and then move on to my lips. So I am using the Bold Brand's liquid lipstick in the shade Magnolia, and then I'm first starting with that liner from the kit. So this can come in a kit with the liner and the liquid lipstick, and if you would like to order from the Bold Brand, please use my discount code so you can save some money and support my channel in the process. But I'm just going to layer on that Magnolia liquid lipstick over that. I did 2 coats just to make sure it was nice and opaque and I had full color payoff, and that was all to my look. So I really hope you enjoy. If you do recreate it, make sure you tag me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Yeah.